Hi, welcome to my yellow raincoat. This is my YouTube channel, and during this season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I presented lessons that I used in my 8th grade classroom. They're the life lessons. Students told me over and over again, verbally and in written letters to me, that these lessons were profound for them, that they really wanted to hear these lessons and that they meant a lot to them, and it helped them to make decisions in life. So today is season 7. So we're really just moving right along here, covering all my bases of what I want to tell you about the life lessons. So if you missed 1 through 6, please check them out. Today we're going to be going, it's a whirlwind lesson today. Because I got this letter from a student when he finished 8th grade, but it covers like 4 different lessons that I covered in class. So I have to give you a brief explanation of those lessons, and then you'll see how I handle it, and you'll see the follow-up to that, because there's always a follow-up. Okay, so the first part of the letter talks about his writing and how his writing improved. And so when the kids come in the class in the beginning of the year, I tell them, we start writing and we're doing sentences and we're doing paragraphs, and the kids would like struggle. How long does it have to be? Is 5 sentences enough? And it would just like, well, I told the kids, it used to take me a minute or 2 to grade your assignment. Now you're turning in an assignment. You know what? I see staples. You know what that means? There's more than a page. Some of you are turning in 2 full pages, 3 pages. Some of you went on to 4 pages. How silly of that was for me to give you, for you to improve your writing so much that now I have all that grading to do. I can't do it in a couple of minutes anymore. I need like 15 minutes to grade some of your essays. But I'm so proud of you. I see so much enthusiasm and so much growth. It's worth it to me that I have to grade all those papers. Another lesson that I taught always, frequently, daily, weekly, monthly, were lessons on staying away from drugs and alcohol. And I never sugarcoated it. It had to be like the worst case scenario. I wanted to scare them. I wanted them to see what can really happen. They see it on the news. They see it with celebrities. But I wanted them to hear it from me. I had a captive audience, and I had to tell them these worst case scenarios are real. And sometimes it hits home. So we were next door to the high school, and a young lady was having her sweet 16th birthday. Oh, it was going to be a gorgeous celebration, lots of food and lots of kids, and everybody was so excited to go to the party. And the birthday girl, her parents bought her a brand new red car. I know. She was really excited. One of the kids gave her something. It was her first time trying a drug, her first time. They gave her ecstasy. And she passed away at her party. Now, hands went up right away, and kids were telling me it was about that she drank too much water, and you can't drink so much water when you take ecstasy. You get really thirsty, but you can only have like a half a cup, and if you drink any more, you drown on this water. And I said to them, that is like walking on a tightrope. You're putting yourself on this tightrope. You can't do that. How do you know if it's a tablespoon more, a tablespoon less, or a quarter of a cup more? You cannot risk that. You have to just stay away. Nothing good will ever come about. Nothing good will ever come about from drinking and drugs. And I said that over and over again. Another lesson that I would have to do is I would put this sign on the board, and underneath it I wrote, the shortest distance between 2 points, A and B, is a straight line. One of my students immediately came in class, looked at the board, and said, why do you have math on the board? This is English. I'm very fortunate because the rest of the class, they're all like little mini teachers. I didn't have to say a word. They just quickly blurted out, she doesn't mean it literally. She means it figuratively. In life, you go from point A to point B and just go in a straight line. They got me. They knew already. I had taught so many lessons and they knew. So we talked about it and we said, like, what are the things? This is your dream. This is your path to your dream. But what are the things that could take you off the path? And so we talked about drugs and alcohol. Yeah, they knew to say that right away because of all my lectures on it. Cheating, that could take you off the path. That could affect your grade point average and you'd get busted. Shoplifting, we heard about that from the high school. Kids ended up in juvie hall. There's a whole array of things that could take you off the path. But the shortest distance is a straight line. Just stay on the path. Avoid all those things. The other thing was actually something simple, but I had to tell the kids it was about manners. And I would say to them, I see teachers are walking through the door. They have all their book bags and their lunch and they're carrying lesson plans and books and things. And you guys just walk ahead and open the door for yourself and walk in and teacher's standing there. You do that for other students too. Students are carrying their projects and you don't want to open the door. And why? Is it because they're not your best friend? You don't know them? So that little bit of kindness, that 1 second, that's kindness. It's just being a good person. It's just being thoughtful. It doesn't mean that you have to invite them to a party. It just means that you are just a thoughtful, kind person. I also see teachers, they're walking around the campus, down the corridors. You don't say hi. You say hi to me when you come in my room, but when you see me out there, you don't say hi. Why? I like you. I'll say hi. I want you just to think about this as you meander through the day. You see kids from this room. You see kids from other classes. You don't hang out with them. You're not best friends. They walk in the cafeteria. Can you say hi? Can you say, I like your dress? Ooh, cool haircut. That was a great essay you wrote the other day. Doesn't hurt. It just means you're kind, that you have a heart, and that you just want to be nice to people. And just think about that if we're all doing that. Think how nice it's all going to be. Okay, so let me read this letter, because you'll hear about all those points in this letter. Miss Rand, I just wanted to thank you for such a great year in 8th grade. This year has definitely been one of my favorites, and I will never forget your class. Ever since the beginning of the school year, my study and writing skills have improved profoundly. I entered your class writing 2 or 3 sentence paragraphs and putting off all my homework until the last minute. Now my writing always takes more than 1 page no matter how long the assignment, and I do all of my homework right away when it is assigned. I believe this is because of all those labor-intensive projects that we did in your class. He paid attention during our vocabulary lessons. Can you tell? He's in vocabulary. Wow. Although they seemed hard, I don't think I could be any more prepared for high school than I am right now. In addition to my enriched academic skills, I love this, you have taught me to be a better person overall. The lectures about drugs and alcohol and how they can mess up your life really put things into perspective for me. I wasn't planning on doing drugs in the first place, but now I know some real stories and examples of how people really got off track from point A to point B. Also, I loved all the conversations about American Idol and the Suns. You were the one of the only teachers I had who talked to us about things on TV. Every discussion we had, whether about school or TV, had me thinking and grasped my attention. Good verb. Also, my manners have slightly improved. I always hold the door for people now and say hi to my teachers when I pass them in the hall. Overall, I just wanted to thank you for a great year. Your class has taught me so many things that I will use in my life. You are a great teacher. So that's the end of 8th grade. And you don't know, as a teacher, you don't know where these life lessons are going to take the kids. You don't know if they're going to walk out in springtime and they forget about everything you said. Until, 6 years later, You bump into one of your students at the grocery store. You're pushing your cart through the vegetable aisle, and there she is, one of your lovely young ladies that you had. I can remember where she sat and how she was so studious, always working. And so we started chatting a little bit, and I said, "So, what have you been doing, And she looked at me and she said, "I didn't listen to you. You told us so many times to stay away from drugs and alcohol, and I did not listen. I got so addicted to drugs that I had to drop out of school, and I went to rehab. I didn't stay on the path." And we continued our conversation. Now she finished high school, and now she's at ASU, Arizona State University. And all of that is behind her. And I looked at her and I said, first of all, I want to thank you so much for sharing this with me, that you felt confident that I wouldn't judge you, that you felt safe enough to tell me. What you went through, you're a very strong girl because you overcame a huge obstacle. And I am so proud of you. It's all behind you now. You're at the university, you're pursuing your dreams. And thank you so much that you shared this with me. Just a lovely young lady. She's on the path. So, what happens sometimes in life? We're on the path. We're doing exactly what we were supposed to do, just like we talked. I'm going to go from point A to point B. So the young man came out to hook up my cable, my computer, and everything. And of course, you know me, I got to talk and I have to know everything and make a lot of conversation, especially with young people. And comes to be that he was a student at ASU. He was on a football scholarship. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to play college football, and he wanted to go to ASU and get his degree, and he was doing it. And then one day, his mom was given a diagnosis of terminal cancer. And this lovely young man, this soulful young man with such a big heart, he dropped out of college, gave up his scholarship, he stopped his education because he wanted to take care of his mom. He took care of her, I believe it was about 2 years, and he did everything for her. He took care of her. He wanted to be the caregiver. Just so happens that there was a young lady living across the street, about the same age, and she would watch him take care of his mom, and she would cook and bring dinner over sometimes and just keep him company and make cookies and do things just to help him out with this situation. They're married now, and they have 2 kids. It's kind of like a Notebook. The Notebook, isn't it? It's that kind of romance. So he was on this path, point A to point B, but guess what? He changed paths. He went from this point A to this point B. Now, B changed. And that's okay. Things come up in life. We can change. We don't have to stay on a path if we don't think it's right. We can change. So those are the things that came up in this letter. Well, it just so happens 4 years later, he had his sister deliver another letter. Dear Miss Rand, I have to thank you for everything you taught me 4 years ago in 8th grade. I can honestly say that I took the most from your class out of anything I had learned up to 8th grade as I entered high school. Obviously, those projects taught me unrivaled work ethic skills. Imagine being grateful for all those projects, which I appreciate immensely. More importantly, you are the single most influential voice every time I am offered drugs, telling me not to do it. Because of you, I have always said no. The advice you gave our class has kept me on my straight path from A to B that you told us about. I am now graduating from high school and am attending the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in the fall. And I have you to thank for this accomplishment, your student. The one thing about all of these life lessons and creating a strong work ethic and having the kids be proud of their work and figuring out how to make the right choices, the one thing about it is your students know that you love them, that you care about them as a human being, not just a student, not a test score. You love them and you want them to have a good, healthy life. Okay, so this is season 7. And I would just, if you work with kids or you have kids or you are a kid and I have a whole bunch of lessons that I'm going to be teaching, and maybe there's something that you have a question, you know, have I ever taught this, or have I ever had to deal with this, or how would you deal with this? Please let me know. Please like my seasons and subscribe so that you'll know, because season 8 is right around the corner. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Bye.